Tribemint. What is that all about? Can you explain it to us?
So we're a creative marketing agency that's really entrenched in the space of working with startups and brands that are looking to innovate to really help them cultivate their brand vision, their identity, and then ultimately a marketing strategy to engage their tribe.
Okay, and how did you get started doing that? Where did that idea come from? What's your background?
So I'm originally from the Bay Area, moved down here to go to school at Long Beach State, and through college got introduced to a great professor where I got my first internship at a marketing agency. It was a consumer engagement agency, so working with really large clients to do that last call to action. So go to the restaurant, go to this movie, tune into this TV show. So really cutting my teeth in the industry of like those call to actions and promotions to get people excited about a brand. And then I met my business partner, Julie Jordan-Ingles there, and we worked really closely together. And when she left to start a tech startup, I followed quickly behind her as the first employee and like fell in love with the creativity and just that spark and that energy when you're launching something of your own. And through having that tech startup experience and then kind of big agency background, we were able to marry the two and launch Tribemint, where we still have the love of working with startups and that excitement of being at the table when you're first coming up with an idea and trying to figure out like how are you going to penetrate a market, and then also using our big marketing agency to really help the like the buffer, like the team to like be able to bounce ideas off of and provide strategy and guidance.
So you started at an agency, an agency world, and then sort of your journey kind of led you to where you are today. Well, but do you remember what it was like when you first left the agency and followed Julie and you were like, okay, we're starting something new? And
Totally. Yeah, no, it was crazy. So it was interesting because I was at this point where I'd been at the agency for 5 years and looking for something a little bit different, and different didn't realize that it was going to be like substantially reduced in pay. But I think that like the big piece was that it was the relationship that Julie and I had created, and then the excitement of the idea of being able to like go out and do something for yourself differently than what I'd ever done before. Oftentimes we were always doing things for clients. It was our own opportunity to like own our own brand in a different way and grow it the way that we saw fit, which was super exciting, and still to this day is like what wakes me up every morning to be able to be like, oh, okay, like we get to decide. We always joke around like with Tribemint that it's like we might as well create an agency that we want to show up to every day, or like shame on us for like creating it if we like don't even want to go to our own job. So
you guys are a year in. I mean, when you guys first decided you were going to get this thing started, I mean, how much of it did you have figured out? Like when you look back now, over a year, like on day one, did you feel completely prepared? Did you have it all figured out? Like have the plan? Like, what were those like very first days like?
Yeah, well, I think it was really interesting because we were coming off of a tech startup, and we really pivoted into Tribemint, to be honest. We got to a point where we had raised some capital with our previous startup, and just realized that based upon what we were doing every day, there was another kind of hole in the market, if you will, that better suit our skill set of really not so much just working with individuals, but brands, and how do you grow those ideas and put budgets and teams against them to grow them to be the next big company that we all know about. But in the beginning, we knew we were really good at marketing. We knew we were super passionate about startups and being entrenched in like the Silicon Beach community. I think was super helpful there. Of like those were our peers now, and so we just said like, hey, we know how to do this. Like, let's do it, and let's start like going out and branding ourselves. I think that we had maybe a little bit of a leg up just because we are branders, we are marketers, so we were able to get the website up and business cards and look really official and have documents of how we talk about ourselves. But again, coming off of a startup where ostensibly we had pivoted and we're starting something new again, it was really scary. And like, okay, like how do we make this happen? What do we do? It's kind of getting your sea legs again for the first time.
So obviously, I think you would probably say like, figuring out your brand is really important when you're first getting started. What other kind of advice would you offer to someone who has an idea and wants to launch it into something?
Being really clear on your brand, who your target audience is, and then like immersing yourself in the space, I think, is like a big key piece of it. And creating different partners, finding out like who the key players are in the community, just kind of doing like all the homework you can to really just kind of discover like where do I fit in and how do I see my brand like even coming to life. And then like sharing it, because I think that there's like a certain energy that like if you hold it inside, nobody knows. But like as soon as I tell you, all of a sudden you're like, Lindsey, what's going on with Tribemint?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, wait, And then like if I see you at an event or we're grabbing coffee or something, then like I want to like make progress. I want to do steps. I want to make sure that I can come back and say like, oh, well, I've been doing this and that happened, and I met with this person and they're interested. It's just like this energy that starts to like get behind it, where you feel like all of a sudden like you have this momentum.
So true.
Yeah. Of,
yeah,
like,
that's
just,
so true. And I know exactly that feeling too.
Yeah.
I want to have something to say.
Yeah, because it's like you just need like that, like kind of like spark that fire, and then it's like once it starts going, then you're like, okay, we're off to the races.
We're off,
and then like I feel like opportunities start to flow your way in a different way, because like people know about you. I think the universe knows about you, so it's like kind of like
put it out.
Yeah, it's like clearing the way a little bit to be able to say like, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm focused on, and that particular way, then people are like able to show up for you in a different way. So
I talked about that sometimes there are highs and there are lows. How do you get through the low days? Or the days when it's really challenging?
Even when feeling like challenged, it's like, okay, trying to find a little win. Like, I think that's been like my biggest like mindset, like mind shift, if you will, is that not everything's going to be this like huge, grandiose, like, we just won $1 million client. Like, it's like being able to be like really conscious of like the little wins within the day. And then like when things are challenging, it's just challenging. And like I give myself the okay or the permission to just say like, you know what, today's like not the day. Like I need to like unwind, or I need to unplug for a moment. And even sometimes, like when I'm in ruts, I think that because I have a partner, being like really vocal about that, of like just saying like, hey, like this is what I'm going through, or being able to have like a dialogue about what's going on has been like super helpful, because I think like letting it like fester inside, or feeling like you have to push through it, or like meet this deadline. It's like, okay, sometimes like your creativity and the inspiration comes from just like turning off, centering, and then just like allowing yourself to like focus on something else, and then you get re-inspired and you're like, okay, I can go back to this. It's gonna be all right.
What do you think some of your personal characteristics and traits are that have made you okay doing this, like made you successful at trying something new and pursuing this route?
Gosh, I think that like just like being really open to like risk. I think that there's like certain areas where I'm like, I don't know risk, but just like getting comfortable with that, and getting comfortable with like really pushing the envelope. I have a pretty like strong personality in the sense of like I'll try anything, like I'll go out there. I'm not quote unquote afraid to do it, although like I do get scared and have my own little nerves about things. But again, it's all about like trying and just like kind of paving a way and being able to tell myself like I'm going to be in control of my own destiny and continue to create that, and whatever that might look like. And then I would say just like also being like super loyal. Like I think that through like this whole transition and experience of kind of stepping out on our own and figuring out like how are we going to support income, how are we going to support ourselves, like our families, so on and so forth, that it's like having that bond with somebody and being able to just really connect at like a deeper level has just been like amazing. So
That's a good one. Okay, so that's going to lead me into some more questions. I want to ask you more about you.
Okay.
And this is where I have to break out. I call this the jam jar. And just got some questions. And so we're going to pull a couple out that you get to answer.
Okay, so am I reading this out loud? Okay, my guilty pleasure. I absolutely love sweets.
Oh, like
I love sweets. I'm one of those people where they're like, oh, would you like dessert? And I'll always ask for the menu. I'm like,
of course,
I'll try that out. So yeah, that would probably be.
So you have like a specific thing?
Well, like how deep do you want to get?
Yeah, I want to know.
So I love like brownies, and so like if you can do like some sort of like brownie sundae with caramel syrup on it, we're talking business. It's like so yum. But what's been really interesting, even like living here in Los Angeles, is that like all these like amazing like restaurants you get to try. Like everyone has like a different twist on their dessert.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Like I will always ask for the menu, so you can count on that from me.
Okay, now it's good to know.
Yeah.
Mine is chocolate chip cookies.
Oh.
I like cannot.
Do you make your own?
I do. Like I made some this weekend.
Okay.
But I only made some because the cookie place I wanted to go was closed, and then I was like stuck in my head. Like I will literally drive out of the way to be like, oh, I read about this really good cookie.
Oh, I love that.
I'm like, it's kind of on the way.
Oh
like,
my God.
I'm east, it's west. We're going.
Yeah. What makes you feel confident? Feeling like I'm making a change, or like I'm helping people. Like I feel like when we come to something, like when my words resonate, or we like all of a sudden hit that like gem of like, like that feels like super good. Like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Like what I'm thinking about resonates with somebody else. And so it just feels really good to be, what's the word? Validated a little bit. By working with like other people. And feeling like, okay, it's not like all the crazy in my head. Like other people are responding to this.
Not just talking to myself.
Like okay, you can like you are supposed to be doing this. Like you're taking strides in the world.
Got it. That was like a really good. Like you said that, and I was thinking like fresh manicure. I was like, my nails look really good. I feel much better about like showing up the
that
places.
And eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
So like we could go to the whole other spectrum of that. Is like I love like when you eyebrows coming out of the shop. Like you're like you look in the mirror. And you're like, yes. Yeah. Well, I just feel like I can like go out and conquer the world in a different way. Like I feel like put together. It's like okay, I have my nails done, my eyebrows done, put a good outfit on, like a little power outfit. Like we're going to do this. Like even if it's like going across the way to like shop or something. Like I'm owning the world today in a different way.
Good. I'm glad you have a version of that though.
Yeah. You're definitely not alone. Let's see. Okay, if you could have one unpredictable superpower, what would it be?
So, like, sometimes it would happen, but not always.
I don't know. What's your superpower?
Like,
I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, like, I think a good one for, like, something like this is, like, speed walking. Like, you can walk ridiculously fast. Because, like, sometimes if it, like, turned on, amazing. But, like, if it wasn't always there, that's okay. Like, if it was unpredictable, like, today I'm walking really fast. Or, like, I don't know.
Okay, so like one that could like work that would like specifically for LA, like but could be interesting is obviously going with like traffic, like being able to clear the 405 and the 10 freeway when I need to like get to a meeting or I just like want to get home. It's been like we've had like a whole night and out with the girlfriends and drinks and you're like I just want to get home and get in my bed, like clearing the freeway would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Oh, dude, I would take your hands down.
I don't know though. I think I'd like want that every day. So I don't know if that's like
the days
like
that didn't work. You're
like no, aren't you supposed to be like every day? Get way too comfortable for it. Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be like a tease. Okay, let's do one more.
Okay, awesome. Favorite drink to toast to? Oh, okay, it's so situational. So for like celebrating champagne. Yeah. Like,
obviously.
Just crisp bubbles to be like, yes. And then like the glasses that they come in are always like, you just feel like I'm on top of the world. Yeah. And I would say too, like because like my dad was like super into like wine clubs and stuff like that. Like a good red cab. That's like I feel like that's also accomplishment because like typically it'll be during dinner. Yeah. It's like okay, like you have like the yummy steak dinner where you're like, yes, I'm rewarding myself. Right. Like yes. And then like you have that good red pairing with it, and then during dessert. Don't forget dessert. We'll cheers with some champagne and make our toast. So,
It's perfect. We're definitely going to dinner.
Yeah, I know. I'm all for it.
I'm so ready for that.
I'm so for it.